Hi there, today we're going to have a look at Midjourney Automation. What is Midjourney Automation? Well, Midjourney Automation allows you to run Midjourney prompts on autopilot. So that means if you put in 100 prompts, you can relax and sit in the couch and it render 100 images for you. And the best part of it is that it's super cheap. You can basically run this automation for like $10 a month. So what exactly can you expect from a Midjourney automation like this? Well, like I said, it runs your Midjourney prompts on autopilot. You can have a centralized database for all of your images. It will save your images automatically in the cloud or locally on your laptop. It will speed up your prompting and allow you to get better results. You can rate your images, you can rate your prompts, you can store your prompts. I mean, it's just a much nicer way to work with Midjourney. So if you are using Midjourney in any professional way or you're making money with Midjourney, then stick around. We're going to have a quick overview of how to create an automation like this. Basically see exactly how to make this automation for yourself. So who could benefit from automating Midjourney? Well, I mean, the obvious case is advertising agencies or marketing agencies, or basically anyone who's using a lot of images, people who sell digital products, content creators, professional artists. If you've been using Midjourney a lot, you probably know it's quite tedious. So if you can build something like this, you'll have a professional workflow and will save you a lot of time. A big plus is also that it allows you to collaborate with multiple people. And if you have all your images and all your prompts centralized and organized in one place, it's gonna give you better results. And like I said before, it's super cheap. You don't need any expensive subscription. So let's have a quick overview of how this automation is running. We'll have a Airtable database that's basically your main dashboard where you will be entering all your prompts and also will be storing your images and all your results. We'll be sending prompts with a webhook to make.com. If you don't know make.com, it is a platform that allows you to connect any application with any other application basically. So think of it as Zapier, but it's a lot more visual and maybe flexible. So inside make.com, we will call on GoAPI, which is a third-party Midjourney API, since Midjourney doesn't have its own API. GoAPI will send our prompt to the Midjourney Discord bot. The Midjourney Discord bot will send 4 upscaled images back to GoAPI, and GoAPI will send the 4 images inside make.com to our cloud storage if we want that, and into Airtable. The cool thing is that our finished results, we will be able to use them to prompt Midjourney again, because a lot of people are using things like image prompts, so it's compatible with that. And an optional extra automation that we can attach to this, but we will not cover it in this video because it will be too long, is that you can also automate additional image processing. So for example, if you are a marketing agency and you need images for your blog post, but you want to add text on top of your images, or you want to layer images or put like a colored layer over your image or anything like that, you can send your finished Midjourney images immediately to an extra automation. I'm using Placid at the moment. If you're interested in that, have a look on my YouTube channel. So let's have a look at how to start building this automation. If you are interested in having this kind of automation for your organization or for your project or business, and you are not into building it yourself, have a look at my website, opmatic.io. We build all kinds of custom automations for marketing and sales, business process automation, content creation, AI implementation, and so forth. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're in the Midjourney automation right now. We're in Airtable. I've created a gallery view where you can see all my rendered images. You can see the ratings here. Here's another view. This is basically the main view where you can enter your prompts. You can click a button to run the automation. You have status updates. You can see the aspect ratio and different options. You can see a brief preview of the images. You can see the full rendered images, the upscale images. So for this automation, you're gonna need 3 applications: Airtable, make.com, and GoAPI. Inside make.com, we're going to actually build 2 scenarios. One scenario will be to generate the image, and a second scenario will be for retrieving and storing the image. So let's have a brief overview of how this automation works. Inside Airtable, we're going to have to send a webhook that's gonna send all of this information. In this automation in make.com, you can see there's 3 branches. One is for imagining prompts, a second is to make variations on images, and I also created a automation to describe images. But for this tutorial, we're just gonna focus on the imagine automation because it's probably the most useful for most people. Okay, so I created a new scenario inside make.com. I also created a new base inside Airtable, and we're gonna quickly build this automation. So the first thing we have to do is create a custom webhook. I'm gonna call this one Midjourney tutorial, and we're gonna copy this address to clipboard. There we go. We're gonna have to paste this webhook inside Airtable. I'm just gonna quickly paste it in here. There we go. And the second step will be to catch the Airtable record ID and retrieve all of our prompt and other information here. So I'm just gonna select the correct base and title base. Cool, very clear. Table 1 and record ID should be entered here. So how are we going to send this record ID to Make? Well, there's a few ways to do this. If you have a paid account in Airtable, you can run an automation that can run a script which will allow you to send the webhook. There's also a free way to do it, and it's not ideal, but it works pretty good, so it's no problem to using it. I'll show you how to do it right now. What you'll need to do is create a new table, and you're gonna have to paste in the webhook right here. Just quickly make an extra field, not this one, webhook URL. Just gonna call this webhook URL, delete these 2 extra records. Then we're gonna have to create a link to another record, link to table 2, and yeah, I should have named this. Gonna call this imagine, will make sense in a second. And so that means if I select imagine here, it will call on this webhook. So the next thing I'll need to do is create a button. So what we need to do here is actually create a very simple formula with concatenate. We need to combine this field that we just called, which is conveniently called label from table 2. Just actually gonna have to change that name, and then I'll just paste in this text here. Basically, we just add a question mark and add this text record ID. That should work. And so now if I'll press this button, it should send a webhook to make.com. So let's have a quick look if this works. Press play, imagine, select, go, and here it is. So we got the record ID. Gonna connect it here, select. There we go. So the next step will be a HTTP request. We're gonna have to make a API request to the GoAPI. Quickly gonna show you the API documentation here. So here you can see it's a post request to this URL. Just gonna copy this in. So it's a post request to this name, header name. Value should be our GoAPI key. This is a part I will not show, but you can find your own GoAPI keys under my API key. Another cool thing I want to mention about GoAPI is that you can either buy a Midjourney account, so you don't need to have your own Midjourney account inside Discord. You can just buy an account at GoAPI, or you can bring your own account. So if you already have a Midjourney account, you can just link it here. This is also the cheapest way basically to run Midjourney with an API. So what you want to do is copy your API key here and then paste it inside your make automation. I'm going to do that in a second. But the next thing we're going to want to do is select body type raw, JSON. And if we go back to the GoAPI, you can see all of the values that you can enter here, all the names and descriptions. Here you can see also an example. So what we want to do is send our prompt. We're going to want to send our aspect ratio, process mode, a webhook endpoint. That is actually the signal that your image is ready. So once you will send a webhook to this endpoint, you can start the second automation to save and retrieve your images. Webhook secret, I think it's for some kind of safety reason. I'm actually using it in a different way. I'm entering my table record ID inside the webhook secret, so it's a little bit easier to retrieve my Airtable, the correct Airtable ID once we're in the second automation, but that's gonna make sense in a second. So I'm just gonna paste in the request content that I prepared already. Just gonna delete this. So as you see, we're gonna need a few different variables here that we're gonna need to create inside our Airtable database. So let's do that right now. So for prompts, I use this long text. The ones can be maybe either small Actually, for the aspect ratio, it's also easy to create a select box. So reduce your typing, for example, 16:9. I'm gonna select that one for now. For speed, I'm gonna select a single select as well. So let's call this one fast. And yeah, the webhook endpoint, we're gonna get it in a second. Oh yeah, and for the webhook secret, we're gonna pull in the record ID. So we're just gonna pull in this one. Okay, so let's run the webhook quickly again so we can retrieve this new fields. Here we go, connect it again, and then it should be here. Prompt. Here it is. Prompt, aspect ratio, process mode, speed, webhook endpoint. We're gonna have to create that one now. To do that, we're gonna have to quickly create a second new scenario. 3 address to clipboard. So we're just gonna enter that inside this one. So just have to enter my API key secret, and then it should be ready. So I'm just gonna copy that in right now. I'm gonna move this one to the first field, so it will be the primary field. Actually can delete this one. So let's try type in a prompt. I'm gonna copy one that I already used. Actually gonna increase the height a little bit so we can see more. So now we can see the full prompt. It's a little bit easier. So I'm just gonna select our aspect ratio and our speed. And so the workflow would be to select your, imagine if you in the future will have another automation, let's say a describe function or a edit function. The only thing you need to do is add an extra URL here with an extra webhook and another name, and then you can select whichever automation you want to trigger here and press the button to start. So let's have a look if it works. Start make.com and press start. Here we go. It's a code 400. Actually, remember that we need to change this to lowercase fast. So let's start the automation. Let's hit run. Let's see what happens. And here we are, status code 200, which is good. So let's have a look in Discord, and you can see it's received here. So next step we're gonna have to do is retrieve the image inside our Airtable database. I'll also quickly update this record so that we know that it's being generated. And to do that, I'm gonna table 2. In table 2, I'm gonna add a null. That means it will delete this part so that we know that it's being generated. Okay, let's save this automation and let's go to the second one. So first let's have a look if this is working. So if I trigger this, quickly run the automation again so we can trigger the second webhook. Let's wait a second until the image is generated. There it is. And here is our webhook. So what do we receive in this one? We're gonna receive a few images. These are basically our preview images, and these are our four upscaled images. Let's have a look. Here we go. And we also receive our webhook secret, which was our original record. So we can use this one to get our Airtable record again. So let's add this get record module. We'll select a correct base. We'll select the correct table, and we will select the record ID, which is in this case the secret, webhook secret. Next up will be a get request from the GoAPI. Actually, let me just also quickly go back to the first automation again and update the record here, because we want to add an extra field for the task ID. GoAPI gives us a unique ID for each task, which is quite useful to save. I call this task ID, and inside our first automation we can add this from the HTTP request. You can see here in data. So we're going to select this here. So the next thing we need to do is retrieve our 4 images. So for some reason, when I first built this automation, I had some problems to upload the PNGs directly into Airtable. If I just in the normal way update the record and try to upload the image, it doesn't work. So what I'll do first is use a Dropbox module to save the image. So I'll upload a file. I'm just gonna pick I think it should be, actually I need to add another module first. Download the file. So we need to download task result, this one, image URL. So it's gonna download this image. Then it's gonna upload the image to Dropbox. Just select get a file. Next up, create a share link so we can share the link with Airtable. We're going to select in file path, we're going to select file folder ID. That's it. Next up is storing the 4 images inside Airtable. This can be a bit tricky. So what we're going to have to do is check out exactly what we get from this webhook. So go API is giving us these 4 images inside an array. So we get an array with 4 PNGs inside. So what we need to do is iterate over these 4 PNGs to upload them one by one. The way to do that is to add an iterator module and to select the array, which is this one. And now I will update the Airtable record. So it will iterate over this update a record 4 times for each image. Actually, let me delete this. I'm gonna go back to Airtable quickly and add 4 different URLs. It's gonna make sense in a second. Here we go. Image 3, image 4, there we go. Then I'm actually also going to add 4 buttons. It makes it a little bit easier to open the images. So just gonna open a button and I'm gonna call this one URL. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna call this one image 1 and I'm gonna rename this to open image 1. You can duplicate this also 4 times. Change this one to image 2, to image 3, image 4. You can also store your 4 images inside Airtable, but in my opinion, it's probably not a good idea if you really want to create a lot of images, because the maximum storage of one of these Airtable bases is like maybe 5 gigabytes or something, or 2 gigabytes. So if you create a lot of images, I think it's gonna run out of storage pretty quickly. So I prefer to either store your images inside your own Dropbox, or this way actually the image is staying inside the Discord server, just opening it from your Airtable. So you get your preview with 4 images inside one image from Midjourney. That's the one we're gonna store inside Airtable as kind of a preview. And then you can, the ones you like, you can just open from Midjourney and then open from your Dropbox or Google Drive. So I think that's the little bit more future-proof solution to store your images. So next up, we're gonna create this update a record and we're gonna upload these 4 images inside the URLs that we just created. URL up. I'm just gonna select this one for now. Right, so there's a little bit of a tricky part here. Since we have 4 different fields, we're gonna have to tell make.com that every time it iterates over the array, it's gonna have to store each image in a separate field. And the way to do that is, if you look at this information that we get here from the iterator, we get the total of bundles, we get the order of the bundle. So 1, 2, 3, or 4, and obviously the image itself. So the way to do that is to create a if statement. So let's quickly get the if statement, and then if the bundle order position equals, so don't just type equal, you need to select it here. So if the bundle order position equals 1, then enter the value here, and you're gonna have to paste this in like this and change. If the bundle order position is 2, paste it in here. If the bundle order position is 3, upload it here, and 4, upload it in this field. Then I'm gonna close the iterator by selecting the array aggregator and selecting the source module to be the iterator. Just gonna leave it like custom. And then the last thing we need to do is upload the preview image from our Dropbox shared link inside Airtable. And yeah, like I said before, for some reason it doesn't work when you just use the update a record module like this one. So we're just gonna use a custom HTTP request. For this, you can have a look inside the API of Airtable. And basically what you need to do is paste in this URL, and then you're gonna have to paste in your, actually I'm gonna show you because I have to change this anyway. The cool thing is that you can see your API based on your actual tables. So the first thing that we need is the ID of this table. I'm gonna have to paste that, if I'm not mistaken, here. The second thing we need to paste is our column or table. Sorry, our table, that should be, oh, the wrong one. This is our table. And then lastly, we need the record ID again, which we get from our original webhook, which, if you remember, is the secret. Where is the secret? Looking for a secret. Where is the secret? Task ID, task request. Yes, here it is. Webhook secret. There we go. For the method, it should be a patch. You can basically read all of this information in the API documentation. I'm just gonna copy the information I had before. So it's the patch. The authorization should be your own private key. You need to add bearer in front of it. So bearer, and then your API key that you can find in your own Airtable account. So I'm gonna add my API key in a second, and the body type raw, JSON, request content. It's gonna be this one. Field is gonna have to, okay, we have to find the field. And this you can also find in your API inside Airtable. So our field needs to be, actually we didn't create that field yet. So that's gonna have to be a attachment, call this preview image. And so probably have to refresh this one. So let's have a look, preview image. So yeah, this is the ID which we need to enter here. So yeah, if you're familiar with Dropbox, you know that when it shares a URL, it tries to share a download URL. Actually, we can, let me save this. We can have a look how it works. But basically what you need to do is, instead of these letters inside the URL, DL is equals 0 in the end of the Dropbox URL. We're gonna have to replace that with raw equals 1. And so instead of 55 URL, it's gonna be 11 URL. So it should be this. Okay, so that should be it. Let's have a look. The annoying thing about having two different automations is that each time you want to test it, you need to run the whole thing. So I'm just gonna run the first automation again. I'm gonna have to select Imagine, press start. Here we go. So the first image started. We got a status code 200. Now we just have to wait for this one to arrive. Let's check Discord if it's generating. Yep, it's generating. Let's have wait a second. And there it is. Hello. Oh, here we are. So it's getting the records, getting the file, uploading the file, creating a share link. Oh, it's really quick. So already ready. Let's have a look. Oh, we got a 401 here. Oh, I forgot to paste in my authentication, so I have to repeat that again. But if everything is correct, we have our URLs here. So let's open this. So this works, except the Dropbox link isn't uploaded. So let me just paste in my Airtable authentication and let's run it again. Maybe just for fun, let's try another prompt. Just make sure you select your aspect ratio and your speed, otherwise it doesn't work. And of course, select what you want to do exactly. In this case is Imagine. Okay, 200. This task ID should. Okay, so an extra thing I want to mention is that inside your Airtable account, you need to make sure that you add your base inside the developer's personal access tokens scope. So make sure to add it there. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make a HTTP request to Airtable. There it is. Uploading the file, creating a share link, uploading 4 images to Airtable. And now we got a status 200, which is nice. So let's have a look. And here it is. So we have 4 images as a preview, and we got 4 images that are already upscaled. So what you now can do is you can create a whole bunch of new records and paste in all your prompts. Also paste in all your imagines and then just press 10 buttons and let it run. The only extra safe thing to do would be to add a wait module here, a sleep timer, just so that it waits 25 seconds in between prompting Discord, just to make sure. You have to select sequential processing for this. That means that it will only start the second prompt when this one is ready. So that's it for this tutorial. Like you saw in the beginning, the database that I built, you can really make it a lot better. You can add a lot of options. You can filter fields. You can make different automations like describe and change images. You can also make different views so that it's more convenient to rate images, for example, or like this gallery view. I also want to show you a few bonus things. So yeah, this is a way how I create my prompts. So this is a little bit of a cheat sheet. I just copy in my medium, my style and composition, the scene, modulation, and so forth into this prompt. So I have a bunch of keywords that I use, and once I put it in this prompt, I can save my prompts here, and I can also rate the prompts. For example, here I can also upload images that I found online. So for example, this one, it's just a URL from Google. I can create a whole database of found images, and I can put the URL inside the prompt window, and I can select the describe function. Actually, I don't have it right now because of the tutorial, but the only thing you need to do for this is basically create an extra branch for this and make a describe call to the API. Then it will render the URL that you put into it, and it will give you a description of it. This can be very interesting to find new prompts. So yeah, that was it, guys. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you are looking to build this kind of automation for your organization or your company and you need some help, you can find my website in the description. I hope you have a nice day. See you next time. Bye bye.